So today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that comes up a lot in discussions with people looking to buy an electric bike, and it's really the long-term serviceability. I mean, I titled this like the dirty little secret because it's something that I think most companies don't really want to talk about because they don't really have a long-term plan of how they're going to actually service and support their bikes down the road. So as you might know, if you watch a lot of our videos, we primarily work with Bosch because they have this long-term plan. They actually have said publicly that they're going to continue to support the product for 7 years after they stop production. And I haven't really gotten that same answer from other companies when I spoke to them, and it certainly hasn't been my experience with other companies. So that's something of concern, and I think it's something important to really think about when you're buying an electric bike. It's what's this going to look like 5, 10 plus years from now? Like, am I going to be able to get a battery for this? Am I going to be able to get a new motor, etc.? It's a little bit different when you're talking about an electric bike compared to a non-electric bike. Say a non-electric bike, for example, down the road, if you need just a new derailleur or new tires, wheels, etc., generally speaking, it's pretty standardized. However, in the electric bike world, that's not really the case. You have a different motor, different battery, different controls, all that sort of thing. And generally speaking, you're going to be dependent on that individual manufacturer of those parts to supply them. Oftentimes, this falls on the bike OEM, like one of the brands that sells this product. But what happens if that big company goes out of business, or they just suddenly decide that they don't want to support this product anymore? Because that does happen. I mean, recently something that happened in the industry was Continental, who had decided to get into the e-bike business. They just decided that this is not really something that we want to do anymore, and they kind of packed up their stuff and they said, we're not doing this anymore. So I think about the people that had purchased bikes using that system. What's going to be their experience? Are they going to be able to get parts? I think they're more than likely going to have trouble. So that's one scenario where it's a large company and they willingly decide to exit the market. There's other companies that were really big in the e-bike space for years. I mean, one of them is Bionics, and they actually just closed their doors, and the people that have those systems, they're kind of out of luck. I feel responsible to support those customers long term. Even if the company goes out of business, I think that that's the right thing to do. If we're selling a product, then there's an expectation that we're going to stand behind it. I don't know that everybody really thinks about it that way, but I think that more people should. I think that brands should really consider what their long-term strategy is, and certainly consumers should kind of take a more discerning look at what this product life cycle looks like. I mean, I think to some extent, somebody, if they buy an inexpensive bike, they might have an expectation that, yeah, this is over time going to be a throwaway bike. I don't really like that model. I think that as a society, we do a little bit too much of that. So I'm much more of the mind that like to purchase a product that can be supported long term, and it can be repaired and be serviced. Beyond the impact of your personal economy of just, you're out that money, or you have this really expensive paperweight, it's not really great for the environment either, right? You like purchase this product and over time you just can't do anything with it. You have this 50, 60 pound electric bike that you can't use anymore. So I don't know, I want to get too much more into that, but mostly we just wanted to kind of introduce this discussion topic and get people to think a little bit more about it. It's something that we try to talk to everybody that walks into our store about, and it's one of the big details that we think about when we decide which products we're going to carry in the shop, because I really don't want to be in a position that I can't support the customer. And I found that even with large brands, that quite often can be the case, that it can be difficult. The reality is the electric bike industry is still kind of in its infancy, so there's going to be a lot of changes in the future. And so it's really good to think about, like, is this company going to be around long term? Are they going to be able to support me long term? A friend of mine who I regard as a really smart guy is involved in the HVAC business, and he was talking to me about the early days of air conditioners, and how in the early days there was like 30 different companies offering air conditioners, and now there's about 8. So to think about in that regard, that's a market that maybe is a little bit more mature than the electric bike market. And if we think about how many brands and how many motor systems, etc., are on the market today, are those going to exist in 5 plus 10 years from now? I would tend to guess no, especially considering what the history has been so far. So really, ultimately, like, the message I want to get across is just to be smart about your purchases and just to consider these details, because more than likely, the companies that aren't thinking about this stuff, they're not going to talk to you about it. But I think that it's important for consumers to be informed, and I really want the audience that watches my videos to be informed and to help consider these details. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to try to do some more videos on these sort of topics and just kind of giving you a little bit of more insight on the industry and some of the conversations that I quite often have with people. And I look forward to seeing you in the future. All right.